In an off-season where Kostas Lukas returns to Olympiacos, Calathes goes to Barcelona, where CSKA with very declining budget somehow managed to buy both Shingile and Milutino, what bigger deals could you imagine? Well, there was one. Jasikevičius to Barcelona is a big deal, and it actually could be viewed as the biggest move this year that might give Barcelona the big shakeup that we needed all these years. Jasikevičius proved that he can do a lot with a smaller budget Žalgiris team and go beyond expectations. But can he do the same with the star-filled Barcelona lineup? Well, that is the question to ask. When it was announced on July 2, 2020 that Šarūnas Jasikevičius is leaving Žalgiris Kaunas, it created a huge buzz locally. The most popular sports figure in Lithuania was leaving the most popular basketball club in Lithuania. Media raised some questions on how will Žalgiris look after Šaras' era, as there is no doubt that he was actually the biggest star of the team all along during these 4.5 years. And those concerns were really not from nowhere. When Šarūnas Jasikevičius arrived in 2016, Žalgiris was in a terrible state. The team was not in a good shape that season, and like in previous seasons, it was especially terrible when playing away games. Last game before Šaras' arrival, we lost away match to Bros Bamberg by 33 points. Although Šaras' arrival that season didn't change much, but things started to change noticeably next season, where Žalgiris started to be competitive at all games, and the coming seasons, as you know, were even better. And of course, that is not all Šaras' achievements, as the management in Žalgiris got way better as well, club got more stable financially, Paulius Motiejunas was ranked as the best GM in Euroleague in both 2018 and 2019. But we have to consider the fact that a new Euroleague format is way harder than the older Euroleague formats, where you would usually face weaker teams in a first round of competition. Šaras and Žalgiris had to face all these 17 other teams in Euroleague, and most of them had bigger budget than the green ones. There is no doubt in saying that Žalgiris was at its best with Šarūnas Jasikevičius hitting Final Four for the first time since 1999 and reaching top 8 with its miracle comeback in 2018. Šaras transformed the club into something else, and it's really understandable that concerns are high for upcoming season. Barcelona in some ways is in a similar place to what Šaras arrived and had in 2016, but with much higher resources. Last time Barcelona had a Euroleague title, it was 2010. Just to emphasize how long ago that was, remember that we beat Olympiacos in that final, and that current symbol of the team, Vasilis Spanoulis, was still playing for their rivals Panathinaikos. Last time Barcelona won ACB championship, it was 2014. Jasikevičius was still playing for Žalgiris Kaunas, won his first Lithuanian championship as a player, and hadn't even started his coach career yet. Years without any meaningful title should make Barcelona fans, staff, players, and everyone around it super hungry. It was clearly shown last season that Barcelona management was tired of losing games, and there was a lot of cash thrown to players like Mirotic, Davies, Delaney, and others. The results were not that exciting though. Besic, along with the star lineup, struggled in Euroleague and even lost 3 games in a row at one point of the season. Of course, we have to remember that this losing streak was followed by 10 wins in a row, but still, with this star lineup, being third in Euroleague is not what you want at any state of the season. And the season went from average to worse after losing Liga and Endesa title to Baskonia and continuing long 6-year title drought. There is no doubt that this year is do or die for Barcelona. After keeping the core of the superstar team from the last year and signing Šarūnas Jasikevičius along with Calathes, they have to win titles. Not to mention that their main rival Real Madrid is probably gonna lose Facundo Campazzo, that was one of their best players last year. You could make argument that not winning Euroleague title is kinda acceptable as Final Four format is complete lottery, and I would kinda agree. If you show something similar to what Anadolu did past season and you lose at the semi-final to CSKA, it still could be considered a good season. not winning Liga and as a title though. It would be a complete disaster for the team that had such a huge investments and bought one of the best head coaches in Europe. One of the things why Jasikevičius is so appreciated by all the basketball media and the experts is the fact that he is so focused on every detail in the basketball court. You can hit a fantastic three-pointer, but if you had a lapse in defense, Jasikevičius is gonna let you know that you did something wrong. Ask Brandon Davis or Maurice Grigonis, and I think they would agree on that one. On offense, Žalgiris usually focused on their rival weaknesses in defense. This can clearly be seen in their multiple games against Real Madrid, where Žalgiris would torture Real by using pick-and-pops against Walter Tavares. Knowing how persistent Jasikevičius is to keep a game plan and all of the details, it is hard to believe that this Barcelona team wouldn't be up for a great success in the coming seasons. But Žalgiris isn't Barcelona, and with all due respect to the players of the green ones, there is no doubt that Barcelona has way more star power. It will be interesting to see how will that affect Jasikevičius and his view on the game. Will he let the offense flow be dictated by the star players themselves, or are they gonna be forced to the strict playing schemes and roles that players in Žalgiris had? Brandon Davis, for example, didn't shoot a single three in Žalgiris for first 2 seasons, and he had 16 of them in Barcelona with Pesic. And of course, we are looking forward to see how Šaras will approach defense with Barcelona's star-studded team. Because it's one thing to shout on a player that had a defensive lapse, that is up and coming from an average Champions League team, but will he do the same if Mirotic, Calathes or any of those players have same issues? His mentality is one of the reasons why fans love him so much, so I doubt that he will lose much of that. Both Grigonis and Ulanovas in their podcast on TV3 Sport Lietuva channel mentioned that it wasn't very easy playing with Šaras' system and there is no room for mistake on defense there. Will Šaras change his perception of the game when he has all these star players? Well, that is something we have to wait and see. There is no doubt that coming years will be very interesting for Barcelona fans. If I would have to guess, coming years will probably bring titles and victories back to Barcelona, and not only that, you now have one of the most charismatic coaches in Europe that tends to have interesting press conferences and has his own show in the court. Barcelona is one of the teams on our watch list for a few coming seasons, and there is no doubt about that.